take my consecrated Lord to thee, so I give it all to you, God. Take my moments and my days, and I'm flowing Jesus' praise. Give it all to you. Yeah. So I give it all to you. I give it all to you, God. Yeah, so I give it all to you. Hi, good evening, distinguished colleagues. Good evening, counselors. Good evening, partners. Good evening, friends of Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors. Please, if you can hear me, kindly let me see some emojis or some texts in the chat so that I know you can hear me. Fantastic. I see Counsellor Edith. It's good to see you, Georgina. It's good to see you, Counsellor Eno. I can see you all. Hello, Mame Nyako. Hi, Patsy. It's good to see you. Thank you all, counselors, for joining in tonight. It is my honor to welcome you all to tonight's special webinar. We titled it Beyond the Pink, Healing, Hope, and the Counselor's Voice. Every October, the world, hi, Counsellor Clara, it's good to have you. Hi, Counsellor Asa, it's good to have you here. So every October, the entire world turns pink in honor of those who have faced, those who are facing, or even those who have lost their lives due to breast cancer. But beyond the ribbons and all the campaigns that we see, there are a lot of stories. These stories are very real human stories. They are stories of faith, stories of fear, stories of pain, stories of resilience. Hello, Counsellor Cindy. Thank you for joining in. Now, as counselors, we occupy a very sacred space in these stories that these breast cancer patients have. We are often the voice of calm when a diagnosis shatters a family. We are often the ear that listens without judgment. And we are the heart that helps others find purpose again. Now, tonight, we want to just gather here together as a whole and explore how we can be that voice of healing. We want to explore how we can be that voice of hope. We don't just want to be that voice for the patients, but we also want to be that voice for their families. Some of these people also have caregivers. So we want to give a voice to those caregivers. And also, these people who are facing this issue belong to a community. So we need to get together and be a voice for that community as well. Now, tonight, we will be hearing from insightful speakers, and they will help us reflect on how to walk with people through the pain. They will also help us to walk through how to speak life during this kind of crisis for people with this issue. We will also learn how to strengthen those who support others. Tonight is going to be very, 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 very packed. And I really, really hope you are ready to learn something from our speakers, right? So as we begin, I encourage all of us to engage with open hearts, thoughtful minds. The chat box is there for you anytime. You can just put in a question. I will put it down for you. And during the Q&A side, we would have our speakers answer those questions. Anything, any contribution you want to make, we are very, very open to hearing from you. We want to learn together with you. We want to to share together. We want to reaffirm all our call as counselors that bring comfort, compassion, and light wherever we serve. So, on behalf of Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors, I welcome you all warmly to this meaningful session dubbed Beyond the Pink. At this moment, you just want to unmute your mic for about 1 minute and say a short hi to everybody so that we know that we are all present. A short 10-second, 20-second greeting from anybody at all. Anybody at all want to share a greeting to the entire team?
Hello.
Hi, Counsellor
Hello,
Doris.
colleagues. Yes, hello, colleagues, and just grateful to be part of the tonight's forum. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Councillor Doris, thank you for doing that. In fact, I'm going to send you a package from GACC. Definitely next week, we will send you a package for this lovely gesture you have shown us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please, anybody else have a greeting for us? Please, just one more person to share a greeting with us, and then we will zoom into the section.
Hello, counselors. Good evening to us all. And we are grateful to have such a program. I'm believing that by the end of it, we will achieve whatever we need to, do more and go higher and go all around the globe. Thank you very much.
Wow, that is so perfect. Thank you, Counselor Georgina. Thank you so much. From our secretariat, we want to say thank you. We will send you a very lovely package for this great honor you have done us. That's Counsellors Doris Gafachi and Counselor Georgina Smedley. Thank you so much. So we want to zoom in straight into the session with our first speaker, who is in the person of Counselor Mrs. Basilia Basie Isel. She is a licensed professional counselor and she works at the Oheneba Donyo University College of Counseling Psychology. And tonight, she's going to help us on the topic more than survival. I believe we all know that those who are having this crisis, they have to have something that goes beyond just survival. So we want to see how we can help breast cancer clients or patients find purpose beyond the pain they feel. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly help me welcome Counselor Basilia. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Counselor.
Okay, thank you so much, Sicho, for that introduction.
My pleasure.
Okay, a blessed evening to all of us. I believe that it's very important we have such a meeting at such a time as this, and so I'm pleased to join in this meeting, and I'm happy that we are all on board. But we are hoping that we'll have more people joining us sooner than later. So thank you so much. I first of all want to appreciate the executive body and the administration of the GACC for doing me the honors of joining in this session. I find it to be a very important session we are having, discussing one very important topic of our time. But recently I saw on the news that, breast cancer has now become an issue of national concern. It's an issue that has to be attended to as soon as possible because of the alarming rate of breast cancer every year. Currently, the statistics hold that every year about 4,500 women are diagnosed of breast cancer in Ghana alone. And unfortunately, almost half of these patients lose their lives because most of these cases are diagnosed at the latter stage. And so unfortunately, yes, treatment will start and all that, but almost half women. So that should be like, more than 2,000 women losing their lives to breast cancer in this nation. And so I believe that it really is an issue of great concern. And we as counselors have to also do our part because, this disease goes with a lot of emotions. And as we go along, we'll talk about all that. So I'm excited we are talking about this at this point in time. Yeah, so I believe even if you haven't seen someone close to you go through this, which I don't pray for anyone, I believe at least you've seen it in a movie or you've heard someone talk about it, you've heard it on the radio, you've heard someone share his or her life story and all of that. Now, in all these, you realize that breast cancer isn't just about the body having a tumor, the person going through pain and all that. It goes beyond that. Most importantly, you realize that the individual is thrown into a lot of emotional distress. The individual who is diagnosed of the cancer right from the onset, has to battle with a lot of fears. Am I going to die? And most of the time, when the diagnosis comes, the first thing that comes to the individual's mind is that I have a short time to live. I'm going to die. That's the first thought that comes to their minds. They are filled with fear. In fact, there was this woman in my church who passed on, I think somewhere last year, and we were all hurt as a church because she was battling cancer and never told anyone about it. Even her children got to know it at the latter stage when she was admitted at the hospital. And so, a lot of those who are going through this believe that, they'll be stigmatized and looked at in different ways and all that. And so some don't even tell anybody about them. And so they suffer in silence. Yeah, so it goes beyond the physical, stress, the physical strain, the pain and all that, to the things that go through the mind, which sometimes even takes them to the early grave. Because I heard of a story where there were two patients at the hospital whose what we call, they were tested for cancer and all that, and one had it, the other didn't, but then the results were swapped on as it wasn't intentional, but the results were swapped. The one who didn't have it but was told had, out of anxiety, fear, emotional distress, depression, and all that, unfortunately lost his life. But the one who actually had it but had, the negative results, actually was able to live because now it wasn't in his or her mind anymore that I have cancer and all that. So we realize that we really have a big role to play in the lives of these wonderful people. I believe that some of these patients, if they had people around them who would encourage them, if they had someone to talk to, if they had someone to pray with them, and I'm glad we are Christian counselors, and so, we'll be praying during our sessions and all that if we meet Christian clients. Yeah, so some of these people, if they had people like us, probably they wouldn't have lost their lives at the time they did. So I'm glad we are dealing with this issue, and I really hope that we take time to listen. I would send the slides to administrator so that he would put the slides up on our page so that after this we'll take time to go through them. Should we encounter anyone going through this, we'll know exactly what to do. So now, as counselors, what exactly is our role in the lives of these wonderful people? Unfortunately, when we meet people who have cancer, sometimes I wonder why people think it's infectious. And so some people don't want to go close to them, some people want to stay away and all that. But we as counselors, we know that this is not an infectious disease. This is not something that will come close to us should we get closer to someone who have it and all that. So with that knowledge, you know that if you should have a client who would come around and boldly tell you that this is what I'm going through, you know that you have a big task at hand. You might even know someone from afar who might not come close to tell you that I'm having this challenge. It could be probably a friend's family member or someone who is at your workplace or something. If you get to know someone has this challenge, I believe that even if the person doesn't come close to tell you and all that, you can find a way to reach out to the person. Or we can also, some of us can, go around to share, some encouraging words. We can go to the hospitals, go to the cancer units, go and have some good times with them. I know some people do it and all that. We can also join in as counselors, go and help with their mental health. Some are battling a whole lot within, and sometimes it rushes them to the grave when it shouldn't be. So we should all try and find ways and means of reaching out to individuals who are experiencing breast cancer, and by extension, all types of cancers. So what basically is our role? So first of all, ours is to provide a safe space for clients to come and process their emotions. Yes, they might have family and friends who will come around to sometimes sympathize with them. Some might make them feel worse than they are feeling and all that. But we being professionals, we can provide, a very comfortable and conducive space for them to express their emotions. Some people might have family and friends around them and all that, but they might not have what it takes to handle the emotions they are expressing. Some might be in families where, you have to prove strong and all that. Breast cancer has to do with women, it has to do with the mothers and all that. Some mothers, in the midst of the pain and the struggle, would still be cooking, will still be taking care of the children and all that. They might not have the chance to even express to anyone what they are going through from within. So we as counselors are able to provide that conducive environment where we don't judge them, where they can have the chance to cry as much as they want, where they can express their fears just as it is. In our part of the world, when you are asked how you are doing, the automatic response is that I'm fine. So sometimes we don't even express our emotions too clearly. And so when people come around you, they expect that, yes, you are going through the challenge, but when we come around, we should hear you saying, oh, I'm fine, I'm doing well and all that. I have a neighbor who, not too recently, but this year, it wasn't breast cancer, but it was colon cancer and all that. So he told all of us about it and all that. We'll go and visit him and all. Anytime you go, he will express hope of how things are going. He had surgery first and then started with chemotherapy. Anytime you see him, he expresses hope. Oh, I'm getting better. Things are going well. I'm healing faster and all that. But you would barely hear him talk about the other side. So it was one time I met him and I was asking, exactly, how do you feel? How is it like, to have this condition and all that? And he told me that, in fact, to just know that you have this condition alone, that alone is so much to grapple with. He expressed how, sometimes the fears come at him. Sorry. He's one He's one strong young man, but he confided in me about the fact that just the thought of having cancer alone, sometimes that alone, that I have cancer, breaks him, makes him feel so bad about himself and all that. So we as counselors can, go to that extent of getting them to express exactly what they are going through, what they are feeling and all that. Some are having suicidal thoughts. I have a friend whose mom experienced it. So for me, it was breast cancer the mother had. So when it comes to this, I haven't seen a friend's mom go through it. When it comes to breast cancer, I don't take it for granted at all. So there was a time she told me that the mom keeps saying that, in fact, I just wish I could take myself out of my body because of the things I'm feeling. I wish I can take myself out of my body. Then, this person is gradually having thoughts of dying and all that, So if the person expresses this to a counselor, the counselor would know how to handle it, okay? So my friend will from time to time update me on the things the mother is going through, sometimes how distressed she is, how she'll get angry at the least thing, which wasn't who she was and all that. But because of the condition, and sometimes she feeling nobody understands exactly what she's feeling, she might flare up, say things she didn't mean to say and all that. So this is where we as counselors can help deal with the emotions, the anger, issues they have to handle and all that. because sometimes the care is not taken. Some relationships that were so beautiful and all that might be mad because now probably these patients have anger issues, but then don't know exactly how to manage them. So that is where we come in. And then, yes, as I'm already talking about, handling their mental health issues, those who have been thrown into depression. Unfortunately, there are some people who might not have so many family members around them. Some might just be living with a child or two who might be away working during the day, or everyone else will have to go to work and everything. Then they have to be alone in their rooms. They feel lonely. They start feeling depressed, a lot of anxiety. Am I going to die soon? And unfortunately, when they hear of other patients whom they knew also, dying, it brings so much anxiety and fear. And so we as counselors would be addressing all these mental health issues and then helping with relationships. Definitely, when a patient is diagnosed with breast cancer or a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, there might be some few changes in the family. Maybe the way she was cooking and all that, having to go close fire. I heard when they are going through chemotherapy, they don't have to go through fire. They don't have to be in hot environments and all that. So there might have to be someone coming over to cook, or someone has to take over the cooking in the home and all that. There might be some few dynamics here and there. So sometimes as counselors, we might even have to go through family therapy with the whole family to let them know what is at stake and exactly what role the family has to play. Yeah, so now let's zero in on exactly what therapies can be helpful. There are so many therapies we can use, in our general practice, the ones we use and all that. But when it comes to cancer, what are the therapies we can, just take, right? As in not going around all the general therapies, but then these ones have been tailor-made for cancer patients, or taking people who have cancer through counseling. So the first one is acceptance and commitment therapy. Now, this one is seen to have been derived from cognitive behavioral therapy, or let me say it evolved from cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, with acceptance and commitment therapy, unlike the cognitive behavioral therapy where you have to, if we want to help someone change behavior and all that, we need to start with the mind and all that. With this one, now it's not about changing the individual's thoughts and all that, by helping the individual to manage their thoughts and their feelings. Because if we are going to force them to change their thoughts, when you start thinking this way, think this other way and change your thoughts and all that, it might be a bit distressing for them, because yes, this is what I'm going through. I'm feeling depressed and all that. I feel I'm dying and all, but all of a sudden I had to switch from all these thoughts and all. Acceptance and commitment therapy says that yes, the individual is having all these thoughts, but how would he or she be able to handle the thoughts he or she is having? How would he or she be able to navigate the thought in a way that it would result in positive outcomes, and not just changing the thought all of a sudden, because it's believed that just trying to change those thoughts alone can be a bit distressing for them. And it was developed by the psychologist Stephen C. Hayes, Kelly G. Wilson, and Kirk Stroessel. So please, I'll run through quickly. I extended the notes so that when you go through it, you'll be able to understand it, but I'll just look at the point and then we'll move on, because I don't have time on my side. I have only 25 minutes to present. Okay, so now these are the key techniques we can use. The first one is cognitive diffusion, and it has to do with helping clients to create a distance between their thoughts and feelings to reduce the influence. So it's not about changing the thoughts, but the thoughts the individual is having, helping the clients to, be able to have what it takes to separate the thought he or she is having from what actually the case is. Okay, so it is all about probably helping the clients to, have the resilience, or have what it takes to say that, okay, so this is the thought I'm having, but this is not reality. I'm thinking that I'm dying. I'm going to die very soon. But is that what the doctor said? Is that what it is? So gradually helping the clients to develop what it takes to, separate the thoughts. Let the thought be far from him or her, though the thought is present, but helping him or her to judge the thoughts by the facts. Okay, you can help the client to develop, imagery such as, seeing his or her thoughts on a leaf, on a stream going. So yes, I'm thinking this thoughts, but let me just imagine this thought is like something on the leaf that is going down the stream. It will just pass very soon. So helping the client with, what it takes to have the thoughts just pass by, judge the thoughts by the facts and all that, so that the thought wouldn't have the influence it usually would have on him or her. Then we have what we call acceptance. So with acceptance, you make room for difficult thoughts. You help the client to make room for difficult thoughts, feelings, and sensations without struggling to change or control them. So with this one, you help the client to accept the emotions. Let them know that, yes, what you are going through, you're most likely to experience this. You're most likely to experience that. So when it comes, the client knows that with the condition I have, this and this and this, these and these and these emotions go with the condition. I might not be able to change what I'm experiencing. Yes, it's something that has to do with what I'm going through, but it won't last. Okay, so you allow the client to feel the emotion. Sometimes we want to quickly help them out of the depression and all that. This is not to say that we are going to leave them in that state. But, with this therapy, it's more or less having a lot of patience with the client to experience the emotions as much as he or she can. Okay, so the client comes to your office, is feeling angry, is feeling depressed. You can allow him or her to express the anger, say what he or she wants to say, burst out, cry, and everything. You yourself appreciating the fact that the state he or she is in, it calls for all these emotions. So it takes a lot of patience to help them out of those emotions. So help them to accept that what I'm going through, it goes with these emotions. I might experience this, I might experience that. When it comes, I have to be patient with myself. With time, it will wane. But I can't snap out of it all of a sudden. But then knowing that even what I'm going through, it won't last. With time, it will, it will wane. That alone can help them to feel calm down when they're experiencing all these emotions. And then we have contact with the present moment, helping the client to live in the here and now, because such clients are always thinking about what is going to happen. They are thinking about the next session they are going to have and all the pain from the treatment and everything. They are thinking about how this other patient has passed on, and if I don't take care, I might be the next person. They are always thinking. So helping the client to focus on what they are going through at the moment or something more positive they can think about. You can use therapies like, your breathing. While he or she is breathing, just focusing on your breath, the air you are taking in, and then how it's going in and out, and the sound of your breath, just helping the client to focus on something that will take his or her mind off all other thoughts. You can help the client with what we call 5-5-5 method. That is just looking around you. What are the 5 things I can see? What are the 5 things I can hear? What are the 5 things I can feel? Or you can even use art therapy or help the client when he or she is at home and is thinking all sorts of thoughts. If the client loves music, you can encourage the clients to use that. If he or she loves drawing, something that will take his or her mind off all other thoughts to focus on the here and now. And then we have clarifying values. And this is the part I might want to focus on in my session, because we are talking about helping them to find purpose. If we don't help them deal with all their emotions and all the thoughts and everything, they might not want to think about having purpose in life. So now, after we have helped them with the ill thoughts, ill emotions and everything, now we have to help our clients to clarify what their values in life are. What are the things that are most important to you? You might be having this condition, but what are the things you love? What are the things you would want to see grow and all that? So if the client considers relationships very important to him or her, you might want to encourage him or her to be calling family, friends, maybe having a gathering, going to church, just to continue building more positive relations. If he or she finds his career to be very important to him or her, helping your client to know that all hope is not lost. helping him or her to know that there is the chance of you will live, just encouraging him, you will live. So it's about you building on what is important for you and not just sitting down and allowing everything to crumble. So helping your client to still build on the things that are very important to him or her. But first of all, helping him or her to point out the things that are important to him or her, and then from there building on that. So that comes to encouraging committed action. After you have noted down what is important to you, now what will you do to build on them? Because you still have a lot of time ahead of you, you still have life. The fact that you've been diagnosed doesn't mean you are dead or something. You still have life, and so you must make the most of the life you have. So build on the things that are important for you. So you encourage committed action. You can help your client to plan certain activities and all that to keep him or her going. And then we have reframing distress. So as Christians as we are, you can have a client come and now has lost hope in the whole Christian faith, doesn't believe that God loves him or her anymore and all that because of what he or she is going through. Because most of the time we all have the mindset that if you are a child of God, some things should not come your way. But we have seen very strong Christians go through certain things. So what do? You now have to help your client to reframe the whole distress by using certain scriptures. So I took John 16:33, where Christ says that in the world we would have trouble, but we should be of good cheer because he has overcome the world. So Christ himself said that it won't be all rosy. We would have trouble of all sorts. And Paul said in 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 that we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. So you can use certain scriptures to, help your client to see things in a different light. That yes, you are going through this, and these are realities. We are all Christian counselors who have Christians. In fact, these are things we don't pray for, but they are realities. They are realities all around us. If you're a man of God, you might have a church member going through it, or a friend going through it, which we still don't pray for. But should it come up, we have to help the clients reframe the whole distress to see it in a different light. That yes, I might be going through this, but God would make something great come out of it and all that. Than to see it as, yes, have I wronged God? What have I done wrong? Why me? And all that. So helping them reframe the whole distress that even as Christians, we will still go through trouble, but Christ has said ahead of time that he has overcome the world. So that is the acceptance and commitment therapy. That is the first one we can use. Now, the second one and last one we'll talk about is the logotherapy. Please forgive me, I'm running very fast. You have the slides so that you take time to go through them. I think my time will be up very soon if it's not up already. Admin, please, how many minutes more so that I know how to? Okay. So we have the logotherapy. It's also used in counseling clients who have cancer. You can go and read more about it. So this was developed by Viktor Frankl, and it focuses on finding meaning in life as a primary motivational force. Finding meaning in life as a primary motivational force. So despite all we are going through, despite the sickness, the ailments, and it might not be just breast cancer. Your clients can come with another, ailment altogether that is breaking him or her. So many ailments. So we might be dealing with breast cancer, but we can use the same therapy to attend to clients who are going through illness, any form of illness at all, that he or she might begin to feel is taking him or her to the early grave. Yeah, so you need to help your client to find meaning in life as a primary motivation, that despite what you are going through, you still need to find meaning with the life you have, because you are still breathing, you still have life, and you should know that, have the hope that you will live, so you have to keep encouraging. Yeah, so by using logotherapy, there are certain techniques you can also use to help the clients. So I'll quickly run through them and then that will be it. So the first technique you can use is de-reflection. So with de-reflection, what you help the client with is to help the client shift focus from obsessive or problematic thoughts, especially the ones that are related to anxiety. So for instance, you can help a client who is always thinking about the pain, thinking about what the sickness is doing inside him or her and all that, to shift the thoughts to something more positive, probably a family member who has a new child, maybe going to spend time with them, looking at the child grow up, of something that would enlighten him or her more than always thinking about the ailment. And then, if you are not feeling well and you are alone in the room not doing anything, you start feeling the ailment more. You feel every detail of what is going on within you. So the de-reflection is like helping the client to shift focus from what is going on within to something more positive. Then we have paradoxical intention. So this is also one therapy that can be used probably in a counseling session where you probably try to let the clients who is having fears of a certain maybe symptom or a certain side effect from the sickness or treatment. You let the client try to feel that ailment and then to imagine that, yes, you are feeling this and all that, but what is the worst that could happen if you are experiencing the side effects and all that? Or if you are feeling the side effects, what would you do otherwise? So, in a session, maybe a client can express fear for a particular side effect. Maybe I feel heart pains or I have palpitations after treatment and all that. So in dealing with that, you try to let the client imagine probably feeling that and what he or she would do otherwise while going through that side effect or pain. So that when the client goes home and is experiencing that, the client knows exactly what to do and not to now start feeling all the ill feelings that he or she might otherwise have. So that is called paradoxical intention. Then we have attitude modification. So with this one, it focuses on changing the client's attitude towards, the seemingly unchangeable aspect of the situation. Some clients might come having a terminal ailment, probably the doctor has said that you have these few months to live and all that, So with a client who has such a condition, he or she might think that now there's nothing else for me. It's all done. I'm dead already. But helping the client to change the whole attitude about, all that he or she is going through to probably finding something else to say about what he or she is going through. Okay, that yes, this is the state I'm in. But with what I have, with the breath I have, I'm going to do this with it and all that. So helping the client to change his or her whole outlook about the ailment he or she has. And then the last one is focusing on values, focusing on the values the client finds important or the things he or she probably can do to keep him or herself going. So we have creative values. If you have a client who has a talent or has some creative art he or she can engage in to take his mind off and all that, you can draw his attention to it and encourage him or her to be doing it more. Experiential values, a client who loves to be with family and friends, encouraging him to go to church, be at parties, go to places where he'll meet people and, be able to relate with others and feel happy about himself or herself. And then attitudinal values, guiding clients to find a new attitude towards suffering, changing their whole mindset about what they are going through and how they can make the most out of it. And we as Christian counselors, this would be a good time to use the word of God, especially if the client is a Christian and, doesn't mind you using the scriptures and all that, praying with him or her. This will be a good time to help him or her, even grow more in the Lord, to find solace in God, to grow closer to the Lord and all that. So in using this therapy, there are times when the client comes, you can use some questioning. When the client is saying all sorts of things and all that, you can question. So you think all hope is lost. Have you considered this? Have you thought about this? What you're saying, do you think is true? Using questioning and all that. And then helping the client to find purpose, as I've already spoken about, incorporating other therapies. We can use, if the client is going through depression and any therapy that can be helpful, you can always use any of the therapies as a counselor to help him or her. And then, as I was saying, supporting them with spiritual and existential needs. Aside their spiritual needs, some clients might have some existential needs. Some can have financial issues. Cancer treatment is very expensive. You can help the clients find an NGO, get a GoFundMe account. However, you can assist your clients with some existential needs, physical needs that probably might be troubling him or her. Some, they are isolated. They have no family member around them. How do you get them to have people supporting them and all that? So we as counselors can help them with all these in their process of coming out of the challenge they're having. So the last part of my session is to just help us have at the back of our mind some words of affirmations we can use during our sessions in helping with affirming strength and resilience. You can use some words like, "You are so strong and I'm proud of you. I'm inspired by the way you are fighting so bravely. Your courage in the face of this is remarkable. You are stronger than you know." These words can help affirm their strength and resilience. You can also offer support and presence by using words like, "I'm here for you. You're not alone in this journey. I'm always open to listen. Just let it out. We are going to get through this together. Let me know if I can be of help in any way." Then validating their struggle and emotions. The times they come so broken, so feeling a lot of pain, you can use words like, I'm sorry you are going through this. It might be so hard. It's okay not to be okay. I'm here to listen to all your thoughts and feelings. Or you can use words like, phrases like, "We will take this one day at a time." Or, "You are loved by everyone around you. Keep up the fight. We are rooting for you." So by using any of these phrases at the times that will be most appropriate, I believe that if you should have a client who is going through this challenge, he or she would appreciate it so much. Then I have some few verses here which you can also use to offer encouragement. So I just want to encourage us all as counselors to go out there, see ways and means through which we can be of help. It can be through your social media handle. It can be through visiting hospitals, at your church, if you get to know of anyone who has this challenge. In whichever way, I believe that we can all be of help to those experiencing breast cancer or any ailments that seems to bother the lives of people who are dear to us. Thank you so much, and I'm grateful for the time.
Thank you very much, Counselor Vasilia. That was very, very informative. We thank you so much for your time. And please, any questions from the team, we would send to you for you to answer, and we will put those answers on our platform. Thank you so, so much once again.
Thank you too.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we'll just zoom in straight with our next speaker. Yes. So whilst we are waiting for our next speaker, I wanted to share this short video with us. So we would watch it whilst we wait for our next speaker. Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. That was such an informative video. It's talking about the myths that we associate with breast cancer. Yes, so at this moment, I just received a message and would like to please plead with our speaker, Counselor Eno, to kindly please allow for Prof to come in quickly to dash through. So would like to invite our next speaker. Thank you, Counsellor Eno. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, Professor Samuel Ohineba Donyo, and he'll be taking us through the topic, The Silent Counselor, What to Say and What Not to Say to People Who Are Battling the Breast Cancer Crisis. Thank you very much, Prof, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sicho, and good evening to all of you. Unfortunately, I am in class right now lecturing, so I quickly have to break in order to come through, and then I go back. Scripture tells us a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver, and this is in Proverbs chapter 25, verse 11. Also in James chapter 1, verse 19, the Bible says, "Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." Beloved ones, words have power. Words can heal, and words can hurt. When someone receives a diagnosis like breast cancer, our instinct is to say something. But sometimes the most powerful ministry is not the ministry of speaking, but just to be present. In my counseling practice, I have walked beside women and families through the shock, the fear, the tears that follow those words. You have cancer. And I've learned that comfort rarely comes when we have compassion. It is not our explanation that heals hearts, but our presence. So today, we will learn how to speak with wisdom, when to stay silent, and what to say and not to say to anyone who is walking through this valley. A cancer diagnosis shakes people, and it affects their body, their mind, and their spirit. Many wrestle with emotions when they are told they have cancer. How could this happen to me? Will I die? Who will care for my family in my absence? Why did God allow this to happen? Even in laughter, the Bible says, Proverbs chapter 14, verse 13, that the heart may ache. The challenge, especially in our country, is worsened by stigma. There are some people who call cancer a curse, or this is a spiritual attack. And so others hide it from their church for fear of being judged as having lack of faith. One woman ever told me, I didn't tell my pastor because he might think I didn't pray enough. She doesn't need theology. She doesn't need faith. All she needed was tenderness. When people are in crisis, very often our first task is to understand these people, not to explain, because silence can heal. Especially if you don't know what to say, the best thing to do is say nothing. Because sometimes healing comes when we say nothing at all. Remember Job's friends? When they comforted Job, when they said nothing, in Job chapter 2, verse 13, Job felt comforted or better. But they began to fail when they started to explain or try to explain the cause of Job's problem. Silence is healing when it carries compassion. When you sit quietly beside a weeping woman, holding her hand, or simply whispering to her, I am here, that moment carries divine comfort. So be silent when you don't know what to say. But if you don't know what to say, say nothing. Pray silently. Let your eyes, your posture, and your tears do the talking. And you will be surprised that God will speak even your silence loudest. So when must you speak? What must you say? When should you speak? It is when the person invites you into a conversation. That is an opportunity for you. When the people express doubt and a feeling of hopelessness, it is a window. And of course, when the Spirit prompts you to share, then it's an opportunity for you to be able to share. So if that is the case, what must you say and what mustn't you say? What kind of words can heal? You can say to the person, you are not alone, I'm here with you. Or it's okay to cry. God can handle your tears. You can tell them, you are still beautiful. Your worth hasn't changed just because of what they say. Or you can tell them, let us pray. Not because you are weak, but simply because we both need strength at this time. Let them know that even in the valley, God has not left them. So what must you say? What must you not say? Avoid phrases that will even wound the people further. For example, saying to them, everything happens for a reason, is not necessary. Or telling them, just have faith and you'll be healed. It's too simplistic. Don't tell them things like God is testing you, or I know exactly how you feel. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever been diagnosed with cancer? You don't feel like that. And this would be offensive to them. Instead, you must say, this must be very hard for you. I don't have all the answers, but I am here with you. You can say, can I pray with you? And let them know they are loved. Remember, when Jesus stood at Lazarus' grave, he wept. He didn't start with a miracle. He started with empathy. Our God is not distant from our pain, but he walks with us even in it. Faith does not deny pain, but faith endures it with God besides us. Psalm 23 verse 4 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You need to remind your counselors that faith isn't pretending to be strong. Faith is trusting God when you even feel weak, and this will result in peace within their heart. I have this practical guidance for counselors. You need to know that confidentiality is one of the important landmarks of a counselor. So guard confidentiality. As a counselor, know when to speak and when to be still. There is time for everything. A woman I call Akosia came for counseling after her mastectomy. And she said to me that she does not feel like a woman any longer because her breast has been removed. I paused for some time in empathy, and gently I said, but you are still the woman God created. Strong, beautiful, and you are deeply loved. You would be surprised how her face glowed and the change in her mood. That single sentence turned her mourning into meaning. She began to encourage others. She began speaking to others because she has found favor and she has found purpose in her pain. What do you learn from this? We learn that counseling is not about saying a lot. The best counselor is not the one who talks plenty. It's about saying the right things at the right time. So counselors, people who are walking through this journey of cancer don't need perfect words from you. They need faithful hearts. Be the voice that comforts. Be the silence that understands and the hand that steadies. Let your words be few, but be full of grace. Your silence must be rich with compassion. And always remember Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. May your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt. And don't forget, just when you don't know what to say, the best thing is not to say anything. Silence itself is healing. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I will quickly go back to my class. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Professor Samuel Ohineba Donyo. That was very, very informative. I can't believe, personally, I didn't know about some of these things. I mean, for a lady to say she didn't even tell her pastor because he will think she didn't pray enough. Wow, that is such a profound statement to hear from a client. And I know that could shake anybody at all during a session. Thank you so much, Prof, for telling us the things we can and cannot say. Sometimes one of my takeaways from this is it's not always, you don't have to always talk. Sometimes you just have to keep silent. And that is very, very, very powerful. Thank you so much, Prof. We just want to open the call for about 2 minutes to hear from any of our attendees, what you have taken so far from what our first two speakers have spoken about, or if you have any quick contribution you want to send in. We are opening the line for 2 minutes whilst we wait for our next speaker, Counsellor Eno Obaseki. Please, the lines are open. Kindly feel free and then send in your contributions or whatever you want to say, to add, to just help us understand a little more. Maybe you have a personal experience that you want to share as well. Okay, so I understand that we are all here to learn. So we will leave it for our speakers. So our next speaker is Counsellor Eno Obaseki, and she is a very special person to me, to ODUCCP, to GACC, and she is very, 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 very well informed when it comes to counseling. She's going to take us through the topic, supporting the supporters. You see, in my introduction, I told us that it's not always just about the patient the person who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. It's not just about that person. Some of those people have caregivers. Some of them have families and all these things. So we want to hear from Counsellor Eno how we can equip families and caregivers of breast cancer patients. We want to help all these other people, the pastors, the ministers, the doctors, the families, the nurses, everybody, the communities around these diagnosed people. Ladies and gentlemen, Counsellor Eno.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sicho. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Tonight, I'll just be sharing with you how we can equip family members and caregivers of breast cancer patients. As a counselor, what can you do? How can you help those who care for these people? You know, when a person goes through difficult times like having breast cancer, it is very difficult, especially not just for the patient, but for the caregiver. These people go through a lot. In this presentation, we are going to see how we can identify signs of burnout, stress, and faith fatigue, and how we can apply counseling and coping strategies, and how we can also create faith-sensitive support plans. Okay. What do caregivers matter? Yes, they do. Caregivers significantly impact the well-being of patients, but they frequently experience emotional, physical, and spiritual strain. Caregivers are often overlooked, yet they're very essential to a patient's recovery. What are the common stressors? Sometimes, or most times, they're overload. They have sleep disruption, they're financially strained, they're uncertain about prognosis, they're isolated, they feel guilty, and they're angry. Let's talk a little bit about overload. When do we say that the caregiver is overload? When they have too many tasks that they're responsible for. For example, Abina is taking care of a breast cancer patient. She's the one preparing the meals. She's the one booking the appointment. She's the one giving the medication, maybe in the middle of the night, and she goes to work. She's the breadwinner of the family and doesn't have any adequate rest or support. The person will get overload. The person will get exhausted. The person will have emotional pressure, even though she may appear strong. And this person could be under chronic fatigue and will not be able to concentrate well. Poor concentration, she may tend to forget a lot of things. The next one, financial strain. We all know that it's very expensive caring for a breast cancer patient. Yeah, you lose your sleep. As a counselor, how do you recognize burnout? This person is emotionally exhausted, withdraws from family, crowd, feels neglected. In fact, they may even resort to substance use. Sometimes they feel that God has left them. They're even angry at God. They feel abandoned. They have guilt over doubt. Let's continue. What can you do as a counselor when a caregiver comes to you? Prof has said a lot about words. The next thing we can do, or the first and foremost things we have learned in our counseling classes, emotional support. Create a safe, respectful, non-judgmental space. Active listening. Ask open-ended questions. Validate their emotions. And allow the client to tell the story in their own way. That's narrative therapy. Yes. And these are a few counseling strategies you can apply. CBT for stress. Definitely these people are stressed. Yes. Everything may be going haywire. They could have headaches. They could have anxiety, social withdrawal. All sorts of things can happen to these people, but they may go unnoticed. So as a counselor, be kind. Another thing, ACT, Auntie has mentioned that already, and family system and support. Looking at when it comes to faith, we are supposed to be culturally sensitive. In terms of faith, we have to respect spiritual frameworks. It's not every caregiver that will come to you that is a Christian like you, or like that is a Muslim or from other religions. You have to respect that. And you ask open questions about faith, validate their struggle, don't condemn, don't judge. And you can also collaborate with their faith leaders when it's appropriate. How can you help a caregiver to take care of themselves? First of all, sleep hygiene. Because their sleeps are disrupted, you can help them to journal how to take some short naps and get help from other family members. You can help them with micro breaks. Sometimes they'll feel guilty. Oh, how can I leave my auntie or my mommy in this state and go and sleep? You have to help them do that. You can also facilitate them joining pair and faith-based support groups so that it will help them. Now, there's a case study here. Grace is a 42-year-old teacher who has been taking full-time care of her mother, who was recently diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Initially, Grace approached the role with deep love and spiritual conviction, believing it was her calling to serve. She coordinated treatment, managed medications, stayed up late researching alternative therapies. She also led prayer circles and leaned heavily on her faith community. 6 months into caregiving, Grace begins to feel emotionally numb. She snaps at her siblings who offer suggestions but little help. She avoids church, feeling disconnected from the sermons that once comforted her. Her prayer feels hollow, and she wonders why her mother's suffering continues despite her devotion. She's exhausted, forgetful, and increasingly withdrawn from friends. When asked how she's doing, Grace smiles and says, "I'm fine." But inside, she feels abandoned by her family, her faith, and even herself. In this scenario, we can see that there's burnout, emotional exhaustion, irritability, she's withdrawn, there's cognitive fog, there's faith fatigue, spiritual disconnection, loss of meaning, and questioning divine purpose. As a counselor, what would you notice? How would you intervene? What cultural factors might shape your approach? In case your client becomes suicidal, it's best to refer. In case your client goes into substance abuse or there's a severe burnout, it's advisable you refer. For caregivers, we have to empower them to sustain care through support, faith sensitivity, and community connection. Thank you for listening. Sicho, over to you.
Right. Councillor Eno, thank you so much for that session. I'm very grateful that we are tackling these particular topics because normally a lot of people are just doing breast cancer awareness year in, year out. And we always forget the caregivers. We always forget the families. We always forget all the other factors that are playing a role in these diagnoses of these patients. So thank you so much for helping us see how we can help the families, the caregivers, so that they are not too fatigued. They are also human. They are also human, and that's very understandable. Somebody who is very fatigued and tired and all the things they face, it starts to affect how much care they can give to these diagnosed patients. Thank you very much, Councillor. I know that was a very informative session. Please, at this moment, we want to open the line again, this time for about 5 minutes. And any of our attendees, anybody at all, anything you want to mention, you want to add, you want to contribute, you want to tell us your experience, anything at all for the next 5 minutes. We want to keep the lines open as we are waiting for our RN Mame. If she's already on the call waiting for us, but we want to just have a few comments from any of our attendees, anybody at all, please. You can unmute and tell us what you have for us, any ideas you have for us as counselors, what we can do to help. Maybe the speakers did not touch on some things you have an idea about. You can please unmute your mic and tell us.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Councillor Clara. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I just want to say something small on all the three people that I've heard this evening. I am a nurse and I'm a member of the breast team at my hospital. What we normally notice is that these people that have been diagnosed as having cancer, they don't normally tell people, like the counselors that we are mentioning, that they don't tell them those people for advice or something. They go to people that don't even have knowledge. So normally they use their own mind to tell them things, like what Prof said. A pastor would tell, the woman is afraid to tell the pastor because the pastor may say there's not been praying well and all those things. You see, how can a pastor say this if he has the knowledge? So it's the knowledge that they are lacking that made them to tell so many things that are not true or that are not correct. And this made us suffer. because somebody will come at the third stage, the fourth stage. Whatever that you do for the person, you know that if this one, there's no divine intervention, the person may die. So we are pleading, the counselors, we have the knowledge. Today, this evening, we've got so much knowledge about it. Let us use it and use it wisely, so that our dear sisters or our dear mothers who have been diagnosed as having cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer, any of the cancers, can move forward, can step forward and go for the treatment. We are saying early detection. But early detection, then we must get the best treatment. Because if you detect it early and you roam, you're detecting it early, you haven't gained from it. So when you detect it early, you must seek the correct treatment. So that at least the rest of the years that the Lord has given to you, you'll be able to live for it. I think this is a small thing that I'll add to what all my speakers have said. I really appreciate them all. Thank you very much.
Wow, Councillor Clara, that's very, very important what you have mentioned. In fact, I remember when I was attending ODU-CCP, I heard one statement in the beginning of a class. It says, counseling is not simply advice given. Counseling is not just advice given. So this point you have brought out is very, very, very important. And the role of counselors in such situations is very important. But it looks like a lot of people have access to the wrong information. And like Prof said, if you have the wrong information, just keep quiet, because you might not know what more damage you are doing in this person's life. Thank you so much, Councillor Clara Mensah. In fact, the Secretariat will contact you. We would like to send you a very nice package for this great contribution you have given us. Thank you so much. Councillor, Dr. Anum, please, the floor is yours. Hello, Dr. Anum. Please, we are...
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, please, we can.
I want to make a little contribution. Most often, talking from the consulting room, coming from the consulting room, when we see the patient, or sometimes the time that you have to encounter the clients, come in, I would say, in 3 areas. So I would say the 3 areas of management. The first one is when the doctor actually suspects the breast cancer. Perhaps the patient comes in and he complains with the lump in the breast. Now, the moment you mention the lump in the breast, the next question is it cancer? And that's where the problem starts. So in our counseling, that is a pre-diagnostic counseling. The client has the lump. You are going to remove the lump. And the person is already worried whether it's cancer or not. So the counseling at that point cannot be you cannot zero in as a cancer, because the lump has not actually been diagnosed to know what it is. Sometimes it can be a cancer or not. So that aspect, and then going to, maybe after counseling, the person agree for you to take the lump. And so after taking the lump, you send the lump for pathophysiology to be done and know what it is. So let's go into the second stage. The clients are waiting for the results of the lump that has been taken. That also have another area, that anticipatory anxiety, that anticipatory fear, whether it's going to be that. That also have a way how to counsel such a person. Because at that time, you don't know exactly what the diagnosis will be. And so when you are going to have it, it's another problem. Now, the third stage is when you have received the results, and the results says as cancer. That is where you will know exactly that is cancer. And you also start to have the counseling. So in the area, I've left this aspect. When the case comes, when maybe you have the results, and the result shows not being a cancer, but it's ordinary, a dry fibroma or something of that nature. And so it has to be ignored. But yet you have to counsel the person also to keep on examining the breast and watching for any recurrence or any other things in the other breast as well. And also, so having to diagnose a patient with breast lump, I'm taking to the lump, because the waiting time, the anticipation that is there, the fear and all that one are all a major problem that it is. And to come and then maybe when you have the results and you are going to tell the person it is a cancer. And that is also the area where we, as counselors, we actually have to re-examine ourselves, how to counsel the person. Seeing the patient at any of these three stages, what will you do? And sometimes too, when you are going to see the clients for the first time or another time, they come in with the husband. And the husband also may have something else. You may like to talk to the client alone. But there you find if the client is very, very, very emotional, has become very sensitive. Whereas at the pre-level where you are going to take before you tackle the lump, and they said, let my husband come in. We are going to do some joint counseling, a joint counseling session. How do we go about it? So the little that I'll add to it is that we should continue to upgrade ourselves. We shouldn't think just alone about that, oh, that is breast cancer, so let me go in. If you go in and then take the lump and it's not a breast cancer, what do you do? So we actually have to continually upgrade ourselves with these aspects. And if maybe at a certain forum, we learn how to do it at the pre-diagnostic level, the waiting time to know what it is, and then the after. And then the care for the spouse, especially, and then the other ones. Thank you for listening to this little contribution. Thank you again. So go on.
Wow, Dr. Adum, thank you so much for that contribution as well. We all have very, very important points we are raising. And at this point, even though it is 31st October and we are entering another month, I think we can still have a part 2 of Beyond the Pink and then have that as an open forum where all of us prepare. And for about 2 hours, we come and share all our views, because I see that all these points you have raised, Dr. Anum and Counsellor Clara, very, 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 very pertinent issues that we are facing. What you have brought up now is not even just the diagnosis of the patient alone. Before it, during the diagnosis, the waiting period, all these things you are mentioning are very, very important. And I believe this is very, very important for us to know as counselors, or even non-counselors as well. Anybody and everybody should know this. Thank you so much, Dr. Arnold. Thank you so much for this contribution. Yes, so I would like to
Oh,
take...
I'm waiting for my... I'm waiting for my...
Yes, so please, everybody who has contributed, the Secretariat is going to contact you. We have a very, very beautiful, very, very nice package for you. Your contributions have been very, very immense. So far, we have Counsellor Georgina Smedley with her greeting at the beginning. We have Counsellor Doris Gafachi, who also sent us a very lovely greeting. We had Counsellor Clara Mensah, who came in with her very, very, very important contribution. We also have Counsellor Dr. Anum, who has come to throw light on the process that we go through even before or during the patient's or potential patient, let me put it that way, like the potential patient, because you mentioned that sometimes it's not even a cancer yet, but they're already thinking about it. They're already thinking that they are going to die. Yes, so thank you so much, Dr. Anum. We would contact you and send you your lovely package. Please, Counsellor Irenate in the chat says the caregivers are very important and they need so much support to be able to care for the patients. Counsellor Irene, is very, very true. What you are saying is very, very true. We saw this during the COVID pandemic. We saw it during the COVID pandemic, and we saw that all the caregivers, the frontline workers and everything, they needed a lot of support. They needed a lot of, and it's very true that we need to find a way as counselors to reach out to these people. I believe even GACC can take up all these outreaches, and then we see how we can bring together some of these caregivers, the frontline workers, the people who actually need support for all that the care that they give to patients. And I know with all these very esteemed members of GACC, we can make that possible. We can start having outreaches for these people, not just wait for October when the whole world is doing breast cancer awareness, but anytime at all. Thank you so much, Counsellor Irene. As always, we will definitely contact you. I've taken down your name. Thank you so much. That contribution is very, very important. Now, with all of this said, this is a very good segue into our next speaker, and she is coming to give us everything we have to know from the medical standpoint. Yes, we've heard from all the other attendees as well, but we want to draw knowledge from everywhere we can. So, RN, that's registered nurse, Mame Efia, we thank you so much for your time. We thank you for joining us at Ghana Academy of Christian Counsellors. You are very, very welcome.
Hi, good evening to everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. For some reasons, I'm unable to share my PowerPoint, but when I get it ready, I'll send it to Ticho so everyone can have it. But for now, I would be sharing my screen on my phone on a short note I prepared not long ago. So let's all take a look at this. I have labeled it, or I have themed it in the breast of a woman. So cancer in general, or breast cancer, do not only happen to women. They do not only happen to women, but women or females are more susceptible to breast cancer than in males. So we have breast cancer is one of the most common cancers that affects women. It happens when cancerous cells in your breast multiply and become tumors. About 80% of breast cancer cases are invasive, meaning a tumor may spread from your breast to another areas of your body. This part, I'll be talking about the types of cancer over here. So we have the malignant and the benign cancers. When you are diagnosed with cancer, a biopsy is taken. That's a sample of the tissue. It's taken to test as to whether it can spread to other parts of the tissues or other vital organs, such as your liver, your kidneys, any part of your body, to test if it might be able to spread, or it would just be a localized thing where it stays at one place and can be removed. We would say cancer is neoplastic or neoplasm, meaning cancer doesn't have a direct cause, but it has factors or contributing factors. And I have stated some over here, that's the causes. So we have family history. So in my family, for example, I'm using my family as an example. In my family, my aunties from my father's side, I have had 2 of my aunties die of cancer. Not to be breast cancer precisely, but cancer. I don't want to go deep there. And I lost my own biological father to cancer. And so here we are educated, or we are alarmed to go for a test to know if there's anything genetic, if we are prone to cancer, if there's any tissue that might grow to become cancer, or if there's any cell that might grow to become cancer. That's the family history. And then we have the sex. As I said earlier on, the gender matters. It happens to both men and women, but women are more susceptible to breast cancer than in men. The most important part of the causes of breast cancer I would want to hit on is the lifestyle. Lifestyle in general, we are what we eat. We are whatever we take into our body, in our system. And so too much of everything we eat must be carefully examined. We have some types of food that have carcinogenic compounds or chemicals in it. So if I say carcinogenic compounds, they are compounds that makes people or prone people to having cancer. Some can be preservatives they put in drugs. Some can be preservatives they put in the canned products we eat. Some examples are sausages, bacons, canned beef. Some people can't do without sausages. Obi wɔ hɔ a ɔtɔ aduane biara sausage was said that, so every night the person has to eat sausage. Everybody or some people, every time they want to have canned beef in their meals. So or the bread can't be shame. Just even if it's kinky. Now the kinky has become extremely assorted that you can't eat kinky without sausages and canned beefs. Some people eat the same thing. They don't know the causes. We don't even go to the extent of searching the compounds or the chemicals used in making these products, and it worries us a lot. Obi wɔ hɔ a ɔba na she has been diagnosed with cancer. Nka sɛ o medidi yie o mehwɛ me ho so yie bi ni m'abusuam, but probably there's something that you are eating you don't even know of. You don't know. The day I heard that sausages contain carcinogenic chemicals, I shook, I froze, because I'm a lover of sausage. And so I'm like, Jesus, God help me to stop, because I don't want to end up like any other body. And so I would urge all of us to be mindful of what we eat. what we drink, carbonated drinks. Obi owa, anything you eat, there must be something to drink. Have you thought of how these things are produced? Have you thought of the things they add for it to keep long in the stores? Have you thought of how long it has been in the shops? Because down here I have radiation exposure. So have you thought of it? This carbonated drinks, some obi oho apaki wo area, so it is under the sun. It would be under the sun for a long time. And as we all know, and as most of us have learned, that our own environmental activities has destroyed the ozone layers, which are making ultraviolet rays direct to Earth. And so the sun will scorch on these drinks for about 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Then we buy them, put it in the fridge, make it very chilled, pair it with sausage and bread, corned beef and bread, and then we take in. All these things contribute to us having some types of cancer. So the next point is the radiation exposure. So I did a bit of research on radiation exposure. That what at all? I know when you go to the hospitals, when you go to the hospitals and our diagnostic centers to do an X-ray, you are asked, I don't know for other people, but for me, I was asked, why are you coming without a request? And I said, I just feel a bit of pain in my back, my pelvic, and so I just want to see if I am okay. Then the radiologist said, no, it is not done that way because of the radioactivities that these things have on the human body. So if you have noticed, or if you have been in an X-ray room to escort somebody, let's say you're taking a client or a patient to the X-ray room, you are given a type of shield to wear. The person taking the X-ray goes to hide behind some bar. They have made some nice place for those in there to hide. And so if you don't have any knowledge about what these things do to the human body, you might end up harming yourself. So examples of these things are the phones we use. The phones, I won't go too far. The phones we use. It exposes us to these radiations. Sometimes the microwaves we use might be faulty. They are all rays. The microwave heating your food, making it hot, they are all done by radiations, yes. And so please, let's be mindful of what we use, the home appliances we use. If you want to microwave your food, you can put your food inside in a well-sealed microwave. Then you excuse yourself. When the time is up, it would make a sound, it would make a beep. You go for your food, and then even when there was no microwave, we used to use our own gas to warm our foods and all that. But obibeka or trikasem says sisi animdie na adoso into yare no so adoso. Now the knowledge, the technology has improved, and so the conditions also have increased. So let's go to the signs and symptoms. I would be showing some images, some sensitive images. So I am given a prior notice. I'll share some sensitive images and then we can go on. So some signs and symptoms we have is a change in the size or shape, shape or contour of your breast. So every woman knows her body. Everyone knows how her body looks like. So if there's any abnormality, women are able to detect or see, say, no, my breast weight is like the left one has become more bigger or has increased in size than the right, or the right has increased in size than the left. During menstrual cycles, there are a lot of things that changes in the body of a woman. Sometimes it's tenderness in the breast. So during that period, you will be contemplating as to whether it's alarming or not. So these things can really be confirmed after or your cycle, some weeks after your cycle or some days after your cycles. All these things that I'm going to mention, the signs and symptoms, if you see any of these, don't sit home and go and buy a boniki or a krobewu or say that, oh, let me use herbs. I'll be using herbs till the herbs heal me. I am not saying herbs are no good, but there are some conditions that herbs cannot. And so you feel a mass or a lump, which may feel as small as a pea. It can be different in every other human being. So if you feel a lump in the underarm region, let's say your armpit area close to your breast, examining yourself, you feel like, I feel a strange lump in my breast. You have to visit the hospital. And then a lump or a thickening or in or near your breast or in your underarm that persists through your menstrual cycle. So today we had a client and I read her history where she said she felt the lump during her cycle, her menstrual cycle. And she thought it was because of the cycle, so she didn't really pay attention to. But after some weeks, she realized it wasn't resolving. After the menstrual cycle was over, the lump wasn't resolving. So she just took her bag and said, I am coming to the hospital. And yesterday, they were able to take out whatever mass that was in her breast. We thank God for that. And then the next point is a change in the look or feel of your skin on your breast or nipple. Your skin may look dimpled, your skin may look puckered, scaly, and or inflamed. It may look red, purple, or darker than other parts of your breast. And so you feel or you see that your nipple is inverted. I would show a picture of how the inverted nipple looks like. Your nipple is inverted. There's a discoloration on your breast. It looks reddish. It looks darker. It looks purple. It's inflamed. Do you understand? All these things are signs of possible tumors in the breast or possible lumps in the breast. If you feel or when you try to express some things from your nipple, you see blood stain, clear fluids, discharges from the nipple, that is not breast milk. It could be blood, it could be a clear fluid, any discharge that you don't know of. Please and please don't sit at home. Report to the hospital. These are all part of the early detection of breast cancer because you can't tell me early detection starts at stage 3 or stage 4 and when the thing is already gone that bad. So early detection is when the cancer or when the tumor or the lump is just there, it's now developing. Oh, I've been able to detect it early. My noble doctors are working on it. My noble nurses are planning and caring for me. These are the things we are looking out for. We can't do this alone unless you help us. So we help you. So to the management and treatment, we have some surgical procedures such as the mastectomy. So Prof mentioned the lady who had a mastectomy and then I think you will remember. So a mastectomy is the removal of your breast, the whole breast. It could be both of the breast or one of the breast or a partial removal of your breast. Then we have a breast reconstruction surgery where we reconstruct a new set of breast for you. And then we have a lumpectomy. So the lumpectomy is when the lump in your breast, the abnormal lump in your breast, is carefully taken out by professionals And then these can be combined with other treatments, such as the chemotherapy. So the chemotherapy could be medications taken orally or intravenously. So these medications, as Counsellor Basilia said, some people can go close to fire and all that. It actually weakens them. It weakens them a lot. So they are unable to do a lot of things. Some people lose their hair, some people become very pale, some people you see the cancer look on their face. And then we have the immunotherapy, we have the hormone therapy, amongst others. Now, seeing here, we have the mammograms and the MRI. So if you report to the hospital and you say, doctor or auntie midwife, I am a midwife, to be precise, I am a midwife. So auntie midwife, please, I have been feeling some abnormal lumps in my breast, under my arm, in my armpit area, and I want you to examine me. The midwife or the nurse or the doctor attending to you would do that gently. And then if there's any abnormality or if there's anything we have to know, mammogram is one of the scans you would be asked to do. MRI would also give that's a magnetic resonance imaging. It would also give a clearer view of whatever thing that is in the breast. So early detection. Early detection starts from self-examination. Nurses, midwives, doctors can't always be around or be in your houses to examine us every day. That is why we have October as Pinktober we set that particular month out for all the women in the world, all the women in Ghana, so we can have a free screening for breast cancer. So self-examination, we examine ourselves first. I would show a video on how to do the self-examination and then frequent screening. The hormones of the female body changes almost every time. It changes almost every time. Some people start their menstrual cycle at the age of 13, and by the age of 20, they get some complications like polycystic ovarian syndromes, polycystic ovarian morphologies, and all that. All these things have to do with the hormones. And so at least if it's every 3 months you want to screen, if it's every 6 months you want to screen, or you want to screen once a year, our doors are widely open. The family planning or reproductive health is always open. Our nurses are always willing to help. Our doctors are forever ready to assist you, to help you get through whatever you're facing. Now, before I show the videos and then the pictures, I would like to say something small that to our counselors, thank you very, 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 very much for all that you've shared. I was very, very happy listening to all that because when my father was down with cancer, everybody shared their ideas. Hey, I mean, the family members everyone was saying something, which was putting us, me to be precise, in a confused state. Some people can say, oh, let's get this amount of money before we start treatment. Please, the caregivers and the families around, they should be more enlightened on the decisions to make during those times, those difficult times. The sharing of ideas on how to solve it becomes too much. Everybody brings something. I remember one of my aunties, may I so rest, she was down with breast cancer and then she knew about it. I think one of the counselors mentioned that she knew about it and none of their children knew. It was just she and her husband. They were doing herbal. So she'll go, they'll give her. The herbalist told her that she shouldn't go to the hospital, that if she goes to the hospital and then the doctors touch her breast, they will cut it and then she would die. And so she said, okay, since you said that, I won't go to the hospital. Then she was given this medication, herbs. She would smell it on her breast day and night, day and night, day and night, until it became worse. At this point, the cancer had already spread through her liver, her kidneys, I mean, all other vital organs in her body. And so, unfortunately, we lost her. If she had gone to the hospital or sought for a medical advice initially, she wouldn't have been brainwashed by anybody. So please, let us not be brainwashed by anybody. It's a medical condition. Take it to the hospital and pray. I know we all have different religions. Some of us are Muslims, some of us are Christians, and some of us are other religions. Let's just pray with everything. But early detection is very important. Because when the cancer is at stage 4, we put you on palliative care. And I don't think any one of us would be. The palliative team would come and talk to you. Palliative care is you are simply about to die. So that is the care we are giving you till you die. So, not to talk too long, I would share some. So, this image we are seeing right here is a discoloration of the breast. So, looking here on the right, we have a normal colored breast, and on the left from my screen, circled with a purple ink, we have a discolored breast. That's where the tumor or the cancer is. And then coming here, we can see the sizes, the change in size, the color, the way the nipple looks, how the difference between the breasts. So these are some pictorial examples of what we should be looking out for. And these are how bad some of the lumps grow. So as I am showing right on my screen, these are how bad some of the lumps can grow. But I am urging all of us not to sit for the lumps to grow to this extent. These are some sensitive images. Pardon me, but these are how bad some cancers can be, breast cancers. So you can see this is a woman's neck. This part is a woman's neck, and this is the breast. So I don't think any of us would be happy to see our relatives or for ourselves to be in this condition. So let's take it well. These are other images too of how bad the cancers can be. We have women in these conditions, and it's very heartbreaking to see them go through all that. As Prof said, you should never say, I know how you feel, because you don't know how it feels. You have no idea of how it feels. So this is the breast. So you can see the nipple here. This nipple is inverted. It is not out like the way every female nipple is supposed to be. This is the underarm, closer to the armpit region. There was a lump there, conscious lump, that this person didn't take it serious, and then it has turned into something else. You can see in between the breast here, it has spread throughout the skin. It has affected the skin. It has become sore, and treating wounds like this is not an easy thing. I mean, the pain you go through for these wounds to be dressed, I bet you won't be happy. You would never be happy. And these are other images too, where I am showing these things so that we don't let them go bad this way. If women are able to detect it by themselves very early and seek for medical attention, I don't think we would have high cases of women dying out of breast cancer. Women going through a lot, chemo and all that therapy because of breast cancer. And so this is a video.
Straight down underneath the axilla area first and in a circular motion.
So this is a video of how to self-examine yourself.
The axilla area first and in a circular motion, we check our breast. You're going to continue to do this all the way around in a spiral pattern until you get to your areola or nipple, as most people know it, and at that areola area as well. Another way that you can check your breast is the zigzag method. So once again, you put your arm overhead, you start at the tail of the breast, and instead of doing a spiral pattern, now you're going to zigzag up and down. This zigzag is very similar in nature, where it covers all of the breast tissue, but does not allow you to miss a lot of the important parts if you just continue to palpate up and down. Go straight down underneath the axilla area first, and in a circular motion, we check our breast. You're going to continue to do this all the way around in a spiral pattern until you get to your areola or nipple, as most people know it, and at that areola area as well. Another way that you can check your breast is the zigzag method. So once again, you put your arm overhead, you start at the tail of the breast, and instead of doing a spiral pattern, now you're going to zigzag up and down. This zigzag is very similar in nature, where it covers all of the breast tissue, but does not allow you to miss a lot of the important parts if you just continue to palpate up and down.
Okay, so in conclusion, I would want to encourage everyone that if you feel any abnormality in your breast, in any part of your body, please don't hesitate to visit the hospital and don't be afraid. Our counselors are here to help. Our pastors are here to help. Our nurses, our midwives, our doctors, we are all here to go with you in every or in each step of the way. We are what we eat. Let us not forget. Mind what we eat. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, RN Mamenyako. Thank you so much. That session was so informative. And I keep saying this, that it's not just for women. No. I'm so glad to see that our able men are also here on the platform learning, because for some time, people just leave breast cancer to women, and leaving that there has become detrimental to all of us, because now sometimes we meet some cases and we don't know what to do ourselves, because it's probably a man who is handling some of the things. So thank you so much. That session was very, very, very informative. We are very grateful for your time and all the information and knowledge you have imparted to us this evening. Now I go back to the chat room, and it says here from Counsellor Ajwa Boateng, it says caregivers should not be overly burdened. Family members should give them their maximum support. Very important, oh. Caregivers should not be overburdened. The family members should give the caregivers their maximum support. Thank you very much, Counsellor Joabuatin, for that contribution. Counsellor Eunice says the survivors need self-acceptance, faith in God, and very moral and emotional support also from the immediate family. Very, 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 very important. So even Councillor Eunice is bringing our minds to the fact that probably somebody has been diagnosed, they've gone through treatment, and they have survived it now. They are healed and everything is gone. They need to have self-acceptance, faith in God, and their family, the immediate family, must support them. Very, 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 very important. Thank you so much for that contribution. Councillor Sichofe, hey, my namesake. Yes. So Councillor Sichofe says, I am intrigued by the point on lifestyle. Oh, Counselor, I'm also very, very intrigued. Me too, I love sausage a lot. Oh. It looks like we are going on a diet to stop taking sausage and all these other things that RN Mamiako mentioned. Counselor Sicho continues saying, it goes to show that as a counselor, I must be mindful to include awareness of this point in sessions. Oh, yes. And the possibility of guiding or referring caregivers as well to dietitians. Wow, Councillor Sichope, I think I'm going to contact you directly. And with the help of some of the other members of GACC, we can come up with brochures, we can come up with print material that we can go and share to create awareness about this. Like we said, it's not just waiting till October to do such things, but we can do it at any time in the year. Even when we are doing that, our outreach for the caregivers, the frontline workers, we can share those flyers or brochures for them to share to any of their patients who come around. Also, as counselors, we can have some in our offices to share. As pastors, we can have some in our church offices to share, so that all this information, what is sausage? What does it do to you? A lot of people don't know. Even me, I didn't know until tonight. Thank you so much, Councillor Sicho. That's a very, 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 very great contribution. Councillor Princess Phyllis. She says, thank you. Seeing a family member go through cancer is very traumatizing. I agree with you, Councillor. I think family members and caregivers must go through counseling as well as the cancer patients. Very, very, very important. Thank you so, 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 so much. Councillor Nessa says, nice presentation. Oh, yes. We'll be having more of these. Probably every month, we'll pick a topic and then have these informative sessions so that we can have all these times to fellowship together and share information. Please, I'll be looking to work with you. The Secretariat will be looking to work with you on the topics you think we should tackle, and we will make all of this possible. And I see that we have a lot of members who are very able, who would also do our presentations for us and give us all the information we need. Councillor Pastor Bernadette, wow. Hi, it's good to see you on the call. Councillor Eunice says, every trimester training will be great. Wow. Fantastic. Every 3 months, I will chase us for these trainings. Please, I hope you will attend. I hope you will share it for outsiders to also join us. This information we share is not just for us internally, but we can share for outsiders to also join in. Councillor Sicho, thank you so much. My namesake, Councillor. Thank you so much. Councillor Boama says, education on cancers should not be a yearly thing, but weekly, especially in festivities and public gatherings. Wow. Very, very important. I've kept on buttressing this point that we shouldn't wait for October, Pinktober, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or whatever name or coin they have put around it. We shouldn't just wait for this annual thing. We should make it a habit to check regularly. We would definitely have to come together as a team to create print media, print assets that we can share. Please, if you agree with me, can I see some reactions that we would tag with all the counselors who have input their whatever it is you want to help us with. Yes, Counsellor Patsy, Counsellor Princess, thank you. I'm taking down all your names. I'm going to contact you so that we put together a very massive print media that is going to shape people's mentality on breast cancer awareness and any other topics that you have for us. RN Maminyako. Yes, thank you. Please, are you raising your hand to say something?
No, I was supporting what you were saying.
Fantastic. Yes, please. Just so we know, RN Maminyako is from Rage Hospital, so we can do a collaboration. You with GACC, a lot of things. There are a lot of possibilities, and personally, I know how to design, so we can design very beautiful brochures, and we can go out and share massively. I would love to see everyone on the platform, GACC platform, in person. COVID is over, so we can. The virtual is a lot. It's helpful, but once in a while, would like to come together to make this very, 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 very important worldwide outreach. And finally, Counsellor Rejoice says, very insightful presentation. Indeed, for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. It's all about awareness, sensitization, and dissemination of information. Oh, Counsellor Rejoice, very, very important. I'm glad all of this is going into our recording so that we have posterity, we have something to look up to, and all the names of our contributors. Thank you so much. I am definitely going to contact you from the Secretariat. Aside your package, we need to have a very massive meeting with all of you so that we see a way to spread awareness, create sensitization, and disseminate information. You are all very, very correct. Thank you so much for sharing your 2 hours with GACC this evening. Thank you very, 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 very much. And I will see you on our next session. We have a lot of things in store for GACC. Our website is finished. We are about to launch it. I hope to see you all at the launching of the website. We are also preparing for our annual general meeting. We will have some new inductees joining us. All these things, all these exercises, all these programs, we hope to see you there. Thank you so much once again, dear cherished, distinguished counselors, and thank you so much to our speakers, Counsellor Basilia, Professor Samuel Ohineba Donyo, Counsellor Eno Obaseki, and RN Maminyako. And to our various contributors, let me give you a small shout out. Counsellor Princess, Counsellor Daniel, Counsellor Clara, Counsellor Doris, Counsellor Georgina, Counsellor Rejoice, Counsellor Irene, Counsellor Adwa Boatin, Counsellor Eunice Taylor, and Counsellor Sichope Akron. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm seeing more things in the chat box. Pastor Tony says, what has the Bible to say about breast cancer and how to deal with it? Please, I'm taking that down and I'll send to our speakers and they would attempt to answer that, and I'll send you the answer on our platform. Counsellor Grace says, thank you all so much for this very insightful presentations. May God bless you all. Thank you, Counsellor Grace. In fact, you have shared the grace with us. May God bless us all. Thank you for attending and have a good night. And remember that at GACC, there is safety in the multitude of counselors. My name is Sichofe Samuel Ohineba Donyo Jr., and I've been your facilitator for Beyond the Pink Breast Cancer Awareness. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. You have a good night too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
God bless you so much.
Bless the Lord.
And good night.
Good night.
Good night.